Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Going Live with Global Learning. I'm your host for today's episode. My name's Elizabeth O'Brien, and I'm the International Program Coordinator here in Global Learning. My primary role is to help oversee our international students who are here on the Community College Initiative Program, which is a U.S. Department of State sponsored program that brings students from underserved and underrepresented countries to come study at the U.S. Community College for a one-year non-degree program where they develop their leadership capabilities, enhance their technical skills, and improve English proficiencies. So today, in this episode, we are fortunate to be talking with Ishika Singh, who is here with us, and she's going to talk a little bit about her community impact project. But before we get started, Ishika, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Okay. Hello, my name is Ishika Singh, and I am from India. And I have been here in the US for more or less 9 months now, and I've been enjoying my stay.
Great. What's been one of the highlights you've had during this program?
Okay, so there have been so many highlights in the program, like apart from the academics, which is very different here, like compared to my country. I feel like we connect more to the lecturers. I was just having my anatomy class and I saw people complaining that, oh my God, if Nick was not, like, my professor was not our professor, we would have done terrible because the anatomy and physiology too is actually difficult. But then he makes it so easy. But back in my country, it's not like that. Like, whatever the lecturer, like whoever the lecturer is, walks into the class, gives the lecture, and walks out straight out. Like the lecturer does not care about if you understood or not. So it's like more up to you, how you study, how you do things. But here, the lecturer like gives more emphasis on how whether the students are understanding or not. So I feel like that's a very good highlight for me to take back.
No, that's amazing. I didn't realize there was such a difference in education systems. So, thank you. So what are you doing at Kirkwood this year? You mentioned you're studying anatomy. Could you tell us what you're doing at Kirkwood?
Okay, so at Kirkwood, I'm doing a lot of things. Like apart from the academics, we have a lot of other parts which are part of the program as well. So at Kirkwood, I am taking EMT classes as well.
Oh.
So my major is EMT here. So apart from anatomy, I take EMT as well.
Okay.
So I'm taking EMT classes. I'm taking anatomy. Last semester, I took like medical terminology. So I am basically doing medical background here.
Wow, fascinating. And is that something that you were passionate about from when you were in India?
So I have been passionate about this profession since the very beginning, but I was not in this profession. So back home, I was studying that is completely different from what I'm studying here. I was studying international relations back home.
Oh.
I wanted to go for medical school, but medical school takes like 10 years in India, and I didn't want to like go for studies for 10 years. I was like, I'm going to do something else. So I went ahead with international relations.
All right. Well, I know you're a participant on the Community College Initiative program this year, and as part of that program, you're required to complete this community impact project. What is your community impact project?
Okay, so my community impact project took a lot of hustle. After a long, long nose, I got one yes. And my community impact project is the Kirkwood Shuttles, which is a new resource on campus.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a new resource for the students. That is why it's called the Kirkwood Student Shuttles, because it is for the students on campus.
Yeah. How did you even begin to come up with the idea for the project?
Okay, so it's like it started back in October when the weather started changing. I know it was not cold for people living here, but it started relatively being cold for us because I come from a very hot weather. So it started being cold, and also the bus which used to bring us to the campus and like take us back home changed its route.
Okay.
So it was like not a problem coming to the campus, but going back home started being a problem for everybody. And like since the time we came here, everybody told us about the Iowa weather, about being like 6 months of snow straight. So we were like, what are we supposed to do when it starts snowing?
Yeah.
So that is when this idea came to my mind that Kirkwood has like a really big campus. So, and also it has like other facilities like the food pantry where people like take food and they have to like take food and walk back home.
Yeah.
So I thought that what like can this be possible to have like a shuttle on campus which can pick students from campus and drop them to a fixed location so that it is easier for the students like to go back and forth from campus.
Yeah, that makes a lot of
So
sense.
this is where the idea started. And also a few of my friends who go to the agriculture building, the bus does not go there. So they have to walk to the campus and then again they have to go back. And agriculture building is relatively far, far than Iowa Hall and the Cedar Hall. It is like at the other end of the campus. So I started feeling that they are facing problems because I used to meet with them. We used to meet on weekends and all that, and they used to tell that, oh my God, you people are lucky that you have class in Lynn Hall because it's close. And I used to think Lynn Hall, yeah, is relatively closer than other halls, but people going to agriculture building, the horticulture building, they were facing problems. And also at the hotel because it's like really far. So that is when this idea came to my head that can Kirkwood have this facility because it would also be helpful for the staff as well. Like when
Right.
I thought maybe it could be helpful for the staff as well to go from one building to the other.
Yeah.
Because like it is really huge. When you look at the buildings, they look like very close to each other. But when you start walking, you understand that it's not so close.
And
So
then you add in winter and it seems
yeah.
even farther to walk back and
So
forth.
that is how the idea started coming into my head.
Okay. So tell us how, so you have this idea. Um, Tell us what happened next. How did you take that from an idea to an actual project happening on campus?
Okay, so I talked about this idea for the first time in the last week of October. And then before that, I had different ideas for my CIP. But then, since it is called Community Impact Project, and I had a conversation with you, and you said, look at the community near like which is nearest to you, and apart from like the Kirkwood community, the students is the community that I can see every day. So I thought, let us see any problem, if there is a problem on campus for the students. So I thought of this idea, and then talked about this idea, and then I heard no, because it was not possible to do it within one school year because there was a lot of other things involved. I can't just go and tell one person and all of a sudden they'll have a shuttle. So it involved like higher authorities as well. So it took a long time to talk to a lot, and I also had to talk to a lot of people.
Yeah.
So in like the career services as well. So it all started with you when I told you the idea, and then I had a conversation with Lexi from the career fields, and then she told me some person, then that person told me another person. So it went ahead, and it was like a group of 7 8 people in
Yeah.
the career services. I had a conversation, and they all kept telling me that I don't know where to go.
Okay.
I don't know who to tell because this was much above their level also. So they
Right.
told me the last name I came across with was Caitlin Miller.
Okay.
And then I had a conversation with her. And then I got to talk to, like, she on my behalf had a conversation, mailed other people. And then the word went up to the vice president of Kirkwood.
Wow.
But then I had to hear no, that this was not possible.
Yeah.
So after the Thanksgiving break, before the winter break, she told me that I don't think it's possible because the word went up to the vice presidents of Kirkwood, but they did not approve it because
Yeah.
the reason they gave was that they did not have enough resources right now to introduce something like that. So it just got canceled there, and I was like, oh, I have to think of something else now.
Okay. So as maybe we've gathered, it didn't stop.
Yeah, it did not stop luckily.
So what changed? Spring semester came, and what was the next thing that happened?
So I was determined about changing my CIP because I was like, it went up to the vice presidents and it did not get approved. So there's no way it's going to get approved anymore. So then we had the PSP.
Yeah.
We were still in the winter break. So everybody was in the winter break, but we went to Washington, D.C., where we had the mid-year program there. And there, while we were talking about our CIPs with each other in the session, so I came across people from the College of DuPage, and they told me that they have a very similar facility on campus. And then I had a conversation with a lot of students from the College of DuPage so that I could understand how they use the facility.
Yeah.
And then they could not answer all my questions. So I had a conversation with their program coordinator and the assistant program coordinator as well. And then I got to know a lot of things. And that is where the idea like came into my head that I can still keep this idea with a few changes in it. So earlier I was advocating for introducing Kirkwood shuttles,
Yeah.
and they told me that they don't have resources for that.
Yep.
So I came up with the idea that can we use facilities which were already available on campus?
Yeah.
So the first thing that came into my head was the Kirkwood vans because they're relatively bigger than normal cars,
Yeah.
and also they are very reliable because we have been using those vans forever. Like every time we go somewhere, we go in those vans. So I felt like it was comfortable, it was reliable, and it was relatively bigger, so it could fit more people.
Right.
And it was already available on campus. Like the biggest point was it was already available.
Yeah.
The one thing we had to figure out was who's gonna drive them.
Okay.
So I did not think about who's gonna drive them at that point of time, but I just wanted to, because I was really passionate about this idea of Kirkwood shuttles.
Yeah.
So I went ahead with the idea, and I thought, let me give another try.
Yeah.
And then I again scheduled a meeting with Career Services, and I introduced this idea. And then Caitlin told me that I am literally sold at this idea. If I have had to buy it, I would do it just now, but it is more than me.
Yeah.
So I'm going to spread your word again. Let's see what happens.
Okay.
And
then it
finally, they
happened.
approved it. Yeah.
Yes. So now there's the shuttle. And so tell us a little bit about how the shuttle operates for
Okay.
students who are interested in.
Okay, so the Kirkwood shuttle started like 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
And right now it runs only on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 fixed timings. So it starts at 7:30 a.m. And then it goes again at 8:30 a.m., then at 1 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Okay.
So there's like 4 fixed timings at which the Kirkwood shuttles are running right now. And it goes on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And it picks students up from like near the rec center, near the main door. It has like fixed location. It goes across the campus, but it drops students at fixed locations. So the stops are like one at the Lynn Hall, one at Iowa Hall, one at Cedar Hall. Like it is somewhere between Iowa Hall and Kirkwood Hall, which is like a middle place where students can use, like if they drop you there, both of the halls are accessible to you. Then it goes all the way to Nielsen Hall, it goes to Washington Hall, it goes to the hotel.
Oh, so it goes the whole way through
Yeah.
campus.
And then again it comes back.
Okay.
So the very good thing about the shuttles is that if you miss the shuttle at 105, suppose it's at 105 near Iowa Hall,
Yeah.
when it goes to the hotel, it again comes back to Iowa Hall. So
Oh,
if you missed it at
good.
105, you can again pick it up at 125 or 30 maybe.
Okay. Okay.
So it is a really good thing. And then again, it drops all the students at the rec center.
Yeah.
And then it waits for the next timing when it's gonna run. So the last one is at around 3.
Okay.
So it takes almost like 40 minutes to go across the campus.
That's not bad.
It's not bad.
Definitely a very good alternative to get around campus, especially when it's raining or snowing or
Yeah.
windy. Or maybe it's just hot.
Yeah.
And also a really good sustainable alternative for students who maybe don't want to be driving all the time.
Yeah.
Well, fascinating. So for students who want to take the shuttle, what do they need to do?
So for students who need to take the shuttle, they need to be at the spot where the shuttle goes around, and then they just get in the shuttle, and then we have a record, like we have like a register where you just write your name, your K number, and the destination where you want to go.
Okay.
And that's all you do.
Easy
That's
enough.
really easy and convenient. You do nothing actually. You just write your name, K number, and where you want to go.
Okay.
That's all you do. Yeah.
And I see that we have a nice map that
Yeah.
shows the route. So where, if a student's curious about the route, where might they find the map?
Okay, if the students are curious about the routes, so they can find the route on the website as well, the Kirkwood website. They just have to go in and type Kirkwood shuttles, and they can easily access the map.
Okay.
We have a link there,
Okay.
so they can find this. And also, like Kirkwood posted it on Facebook as well, and like on the social media pages, so they can find it there as well.
Okay. So a great initiative. Very, very collaborative. It sounds like you've gotten lots of people involved,
Yeah.
which I think is the true spirit of the Community Impact Project. So thinking ahead, or thinking how this would look in your home country of India, do you think having some kind of shuttle service or transportation alternative would be something applicable in India?
No, I don't think so that it would be applicable in the college I go to, because it is a very, like the campus is not as huge as this. So, and if the students live there, they take like personal PGs, paying guests, and they live there. There's no facility to live on campus.
Okay.
So I don't think this would be very helpful in the campus I live. But there's like other campuses in like Rajasthan where the campus is really huge. It's called like the Banastali University, and it would be really helpful there. In a campus as huge as Kirkwood or maybe like bigger than this, it would be really helpful to have a any resource like that.
Yeah.
But in my college specifically, it won't be helpful because, and also when we go to college, like we usually use the public transport to go to the college, and the public transport in my country is like very different from here. It's like 24/7. So people usually don't face this problem. But some universities which have a very huge campus are built in places which are like really isolated from the main city. So in those places, I think it would be really helpful to have a resource like this.
Yeah, certainly. It's interesting to hear about the public transportation system in India and how it is 24/7. Was that a challenge when you came here to the US,
Yeah, it
adjusting
was.
to public transportation?
Yeah, it was a challenge because here everything is like scheduled. The bus is scheduled and it's like 1 hour, like it's once in every hour. So it was really challenging at the beginning, but then we got used to this. And also at home, we had the alternative to use your own transportation, which we cannot do here. So it became it was really challenging in the beginning, but as we went ahead with time, we just got used to this.
Used to it. Well, good. Well, this sounds like just a great addition to the campus and also to the community. So kudos to you for thinking about this and just being very persistent and advocating for the shuttle.
Thank you.
That's amazing. So you're getting ready to go home in a few weeks. What are you most looking forward to about returning home?
Okay, so it has to be my family first because they have been waiting eagerly for me for a long time now. And also, you know that, like I told you before as well, that this was the first time I have been staying away from my parents, like all by myself. So they were like they're really missing me because they did not know what my home looks like without me. And my brother is just opposite in nature. Like he's not like me. He does not talk so much and I talk a lot. So just my mother was missing me and my dad was missing me, and he was like, my chirping bud is not at home. My dad calls me
Aw.
chirping bud because I talk a lot. So he was just telling my house seems so quiet because you're not here and all. And I told him that I'm gonna come back in like 3 weeks. Like I don't even have to remind them. My dad calls me and he's like 28 days, one more less day, and I was like I know that. You
So
don't
they're very excited to
they're
see
very
you
excited,
as well.
yeah. And also, like, immediately after I go back, after 10 days, I have my birthday. So,
Oh, so
it's my
double,
birthday after
double exciting.
yeah, that is why they're like really excited for that. So, I'm looking forward to meeting my friends and family.
Okay.
And I am looking forward to eating good food again.
Yes, I can imagine.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to the food as well. And I'm looking forward to meeting my entire family. I have a really big family. So, I'm looking forward to meeting them. Because before I came here, I did not have enough time to meet everybody because I just completed my university exams. And,
Yeah.
like I had one day off, and then I came here.
And-
I had just one day in India after my exams, so I couldn't meet everybody. I just literally met my parents because we live in the same house, and then I came here. So it's been like almost 2 years since I saw my other relatives. So I'm
Wow.
looking forward to meeting them as well.
Yeah, I would be too after such a long
Like my
time.
grandparents and everybody, they saw me like 2 years ago. So I'm looking forward to meeting them.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Thank you to all of you who are watching virtually. My name again is Elizabeth O'Brien, and thank you for joining us on this episode of Going Live with Global Learning.